Rahnwet na.
Rahnwet. Rahnwet.
Yes, ire oralapakan misalkan sum MKPC yung
Rahnwet na.
Rahnwet.
Iyan kasaleye rakacho garaskacho nan program Rahnwet nan Rahnwet. Yay program MKPC raka po irang sumpalakan. Area mona chkan kacho yung nan program MKPC Rahnwet. Ako ne yan walian kachtiyo chiyan ko ya chinga saratan kay panyo wow. Tuan malan wow rakso kon tuan peyu chinga sararan walab. Tan turan sanan kan ko wam kesaban marlikan nanalak nan kan ye ko. Chinga wow choror to kay saban machay kabinan wain tuan pe karyawan kabina. Speaker, vice speaker o chawai kan chorus nan ten Bombay legislature. Kachawan wam ki sawan ko kung labalab. Samura labalab chon tatak sarawikan nan pilyan lamalamkan chorus nan wain Bombay. O kachawan wam ki sawan mar chon wain sak. Nan sawan machay program Rahnwet nan Bombay and suksej. Nan kachawan sa karpita meban sansan ni kachawan wain. Wain kap sansan te tamawang karusyan. Kach pacho nan wain Bombay. Soche mami de kachawan sawan machay masan and pay sarawach. Hello, Kasalelye, and welcome back to Rahnwet nan Bombay, a weekly radio program that shares topics of importance and interest. Today, in our program, we will be talking about Micronesia Public Sector Building Energy Efficiency, or MPSBEE project. And to share more about this, let's welcome Building Energy Efficiency Specialist, Mr. Chichi Fiheka. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you tell us more about MPSBEE project?
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to use this opportunity to thank the management of the radio station for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Micronesia Public Sector Building Energy Efficiency Project. It's actually a GEF, that is Global Environment Facility, a UNDP funded project. So it's a 3-year project started in 2020 and it's going to end in 2023 in December 14 to be precise. And it's an energy efficiency project, so it's tied to Micronesia Public Sector Building Energy Efficiency Project. It has basically 4 components, and we also have a project management unit based here in Pompeii, that is FSM Department of R&D. So I am part of the project management unit. So we have the program manager, the building energy efficiency specialist, and we have the finance and admin officer based in FSM Department of R&D here under Energy Division. So basically it's a project for energy efficiency, and it's also a climate change mitigation project, because there's a link between energy and the climate that we'll talk about later here in our subsequent show here. So just like I said earlier, it started in 2020 and it's going to end in December 2023, that is December 14 to be precise. So it has 4 components under this project. So component 1 is development of energy efficiency and energy conservation policies, regulations and guidelines. So okay, I'll just explain briefly on how far we've been here on that component 1. So right now we have a draft energy efficiency and energy conservation policy, regulations and guidelines. Because before now, an FSM does not have energy efficiency policy and then regulations around. So the project saw the need and then it said, okay, so that was one of the first component of it. So we have developed energy efficiency, energy conservation policy, regulations and guidelines here. So and then component 2, it's on energy monitoring and reporting systems. So most of the public buildings here in FSM do not have the exact energy monitoring and reporting system for those buildings. So now we have installed energy monitoring and reporting systems in some of the public buildings that we are actually working on here in Pompeii, and then for all other states, that is true, Koshara and here. And so for component 3 is actually the retrofits, that is changing of old electrical appliances which are not energy efficient to more energy efficient appliances in all the 4 states here. So there are some buildings that were selected during the project preparation. So we have buildings for each of the states. So for Pompeii, we retrofitted, that we change energy efficient, we change inefficient equipment that were being used in those public buildings to more energy efficient ones, so that they will reduce on their power consumption. So here in Pompeii, we work with Pompeii State Hospital, Department of Education, the radio station which we are in, at least we made some little changes here in some of the equipment that were not energy efficient. And then we work on other public buildings here, like the Department of Land for Pompeii State. Here we also did some work there. We retrofitted some energy efficient cooling and system, that's air conditioners. And then it cuts across all other states. So for each state in FSM that we are actually working or already retrofitted some certain buildings. And then component, so that is component 3, that is changing of old equipment which are not energy efficient to energy efficient ones. And then component 4 was all about training, the training of personnel within the public buildings on the importance of energy efficiency and the energy conservation. So we've done all the training for all the 4 states. So we just concluded for Pompeii about 3 weeks ago, and then we are also happy that one of the personnel within the radio station also participated in the training. So that is, in a nutshell, that is just what the project is all about here. Thank you.
Kalangan Chichi, what is energy efficiency in a simple way for better understanding of the audience?
Okay, so energy efficiency in a simple way is just the use of less energy to perform some electrical functions. Okay, I will give you an example. Okay, like the air conditioners, right? Okay, with the advancement of technology, the air conditioners that were produced before now, most of them were not energy efficient, so they were consuming a whole lot of energy. Okay, but with better technology now, they are producing newer air conditioners that do not consume much power, but still perform the function of cooling. So that also applies to lighting of our offices and then our houses and things. So now there are bulbs or tubes which do not use much energy. They perform the function of lighting. And then the same thing also applies to things like water heaters, because we mostly know about the conventional water heaters that use power from the utility company. But now with technology, now we are talking about solar water heaters. Exactly what I'm saying. So those ones they are actually very energy efficient. So in a nutshell, this is just what energy efficiency is all about. The use of less energy to perform an electrical function.
Kalangan, is there any link between energy and climate?
So thank you again. So there's a link between energy and climate. I would say globally, the energy sector is the highest emitter of greenhouse gases. And then we know that these greenhouse gases tend to impact as the climate. So they're actually causing climate change because of production of energy. So the energy production emits the highest amount of greenhouse gases here. So it's now impacting our climate. So you can look at that link. So energy production is what is negatively impacting our climate. So that is the link. So if you look at it, so the other way around, in some places where you have extreme weather conditions. So when you have extreme weather conditions, they also tend to impact on the energy network service system. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are producing power from hydro. And then when you have excessive rain, or when you have prolonged drought, it will impact on the power right, it will certainly impact on the power production. Because when you're producing hydropower, and you have prolonged drought, those rivers will certainly dry up, and then it will also affect the power production and some of those other things. So that is the link between energy and then climate.
How does energy efficiency beneficial to an individual, states, and the nation at large?
Okay, thank you very much again. So energy efficiency is actually very important in the present age where we live now, because just like I explained in the previous question, how energy production is impacting on the climate, and then which is also causing a lot of climate change. So why energy efficiency is important for an individual, a state, or a nation is that, so for every amount of energy produced, there is a certain greenhouse gas emission which is attached to it. For every unit of energy or of power that you use, there is an emission attached to it. So we know that these emissions are what are actually causing they're actually contributing to climate change. So if we reduce the amount of energy we use, then we are limiting the so we're also reducing the emission that comes with it. Understand? So for an individual, so if you reduce the amount of energy you use, you are reducing the amount of emission that comes with it. So in that case, you will have less impact, right? Of climate changes. Something like that. So for an individual, at an individual level, then you are reducing the emission. You as an individual, and then when you combine what each individual in a state is actually reducing in terms of emissions, right? By using less energy, then that will sum up for entire state, and then when all the states in FSM make their own contribution, then that will sum up to the entire nation. So that will certainly reduce the contributing factors to to climate change. So it benefits you as an individual because you are limiting trying to limit the greenhouse gas emissions. That will cause climate change for us. And then another way that you can also look at it is that when you use less energy, then you are not paying more for the energy. Understand what I'm saying? So in that case, for an individual, I'm saying you are saving. Why? Because we're using less energy, I'm saying, to perform some of the electrical function either within your house or within our various offices. I'm saying. So for the government, if all government offices are using less energy, the government will spend less money on energy and what. So the government can use has the balance to carry out other functions that the government that the people need and some other things. So when we combine that for states, individual and then the nation, so we can see, we can look at the benefits.
Last and final question, how can individuals be encouraged to implement energy efficiency in their buildings, homes, since the project only focuses on public buildings and since energy efficiency can help in climate change mitigation?
So in part of the training that we did, we got information as in before the training of public sector personnel that that FSM Development Bank is actually giving out a loan on energy efficiency. So it's actually called HELP, that is Home Energy Loan Program. Exactly. So these are some of the ways where people will actually be encouraged, to implement energy efficiency. Though we know that some of the equipment are actually more expensive as compared to the regular non-efficient equipment. So that is why FSM and Development Bank, they came up with that loan to help people to implement that. So in part of the training we did, particularly for Pompeii, when we got the information, we also invited them to come and then work and then so that we can collaborate and then also help to spread out the message so that people can also have access to those loans to implement energy efficiencies in their home. So first, when you understand the importance of energy efficiency, then I believe you'll be moved to go to FSM Development Bank to get those loans. Because they have a long duration for you to repay back all these loans. Because when I was talking with them, they said that some of the loans can go for up to 20 years, provided you meet all all the criteria for you to assess those loans. So as an individual, if you have the resources, it's good for you to also do it as an individual level. Understand? Because you will also be contributing to climate change mitigation. So, but if you also wish to go and get a loan from the African Development Bank, which is also a very good thing, because not everyone who has the resources to implement this either in their homes. When you go there, so they'll provide those loans. So that is just basically how individuals can actually be encouraged. First, you must know the importance of energy efficiency, how you are trying to protect the environment for the future of the children yet unborn, so that they can also live in a good environment and some other thing. So that is some of those other things. Thank you.
Thank you, Chichi. Anything else you want to share before we conclude this radio program?
Okay, I also just want to use this opportunity again to thank our secretary, Elena Akinaga, under her leadership, which this project was actually implemented. And then our assistant secretary, Mr. Faustino, who is the assistant secretary for energy division, and then the program manager, and Darlene Henry, and then Renee and Alexa, which we make up the project management team. So we just want to thank them for their work that they have been doing right from the inception of this project. And I also want to thank our partner, UNDP, for providing this grant to FSM government to encourage energy efficiency. And I also want to thank our donors, which is a Global Environment Facility, for helping out and to provide this grant to implement energy efficiency in FSM. And lastly, I also want to thank the management again for giving us this avenue to create more awareness about energy efficiency, because energy efficiency, when you invest in energy efficiency, you are investing in the future of the people yet unborn, so that they can also live in a good environment. And when people live in good environment, you discover that their productivity will certainly go up. Some of those other things. So I want to thank the commissioner and you and every other person that has put effort for this interview. So thank you once again.
Kalaman, thank you for your time. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, kasaledye. Kalaman and Kuras, the image makayong sa kadar sa machay program in kabesa Rahnwet nan pay. Sa bachuan lugar sa kurakan ng kashin sa Bali, Radio V6AH, ang nan kaunaptan program sa sumbal chikan more kasaledye.